Kill the weak version of yourself. Look in the mirror. Who do you see? Is it the person you want to be? Or is it the weak, pathetic version of yourself? The one who makes excuses, who quits when it gets hard, who settles for average. Average version of you. It needs to die. I don't mean tomorrow. I don't mean next week. I mean right now. Because every second you let that weak version breathe, you're losing. Losing time, losing progress, losing battles you should be winning. You think you're tired? You're not. You think you've given everything? You haven't. You think you're broken? You're lying to yourself. Your limits are self-imposed. You've been listening to that weak voice in your head for too long. The one that tells you to rest when you should be working. The one that whispers, take it easy. You deserve a break. That voice is the enemy. You were not built for average. You were not put on this earth to be comfortable. You were designed for war, a battle against your own weakness, fought every single day. So how do you kill that weak version of yourself? You attack it. You get up earlier. You train harder. You push through pain. You eliminate every excuse, and you do it relentlessly. No compromises, no negotiations. The weak version of you dies the moment you refuse to listen to its lies. The moment you prove to yourself that you are stronger than the pain, that you are built for more, that you will not stop until there is no trace of the old you left. Stand up, move forward, kill the weak version of yourself, and never let it come back. Destroy comfort. Embrace pain. Comfort is the slow death of warriors. It's the silent killer that robs you of your potential before you even realize it. Most people live their entire lives trapped in a prison of comfort, thinking they're safe when in reality, they're dying inside. Wake up. The version of you that stays comfortable is the same version that's weak, lazy, and lost. You weren't made for easy. You weren't designed for softness. You were built to struggle, to push, to fight through pain, and come out on the other side unbreakable. But here's the truth. Pain isn't your enemy. Pain is the one thing that will set you free. It's the gateway to growth, the only way to forge something strong out of something weak. The problem is you've been running from it your whole life. Every time things got hard, you backed down. Every time discomfort knocked on your door, you shut the lights off and pretended you weren't home. That stops now. You want to be great? You want to be unstoppable? Then learn to love suffering. Hunt it down. Seek out discomfort like it's the air you breathe. Because if you don't, comfort will wrap its hands around your throat and choke the life out of you. People ask, how do I become mentally tough? You suffer. You throw yourself into situations that break most people and refuse to let them break you. You train when you're exhausted. You keep pushing when every fiber of your being is screaming at you to quit. You put yourself in places where there's no easy way out, where you have no choice but to survive, and then you thrive. That's the difference between weak and strong. Weak people avoid pain. Strong people eat it for breakfast. They know that every ounce of suffering, every drop of sweat, every moment of exhaustion is a deposit into the bank of greatness. And guess what? That account never fills up. You don't get to a point where you've made it. There is no finish line. If you stop chasing pain, if you let comfort creep back in, you'll slide right back into weakness. So you make pain your new home. You wake up every day and ask yourself, what can I do today that sucks? And then you go do it. Not because it's fun, not because it feels good, but because on the other side of suffering is a version of you that's stronger, harder, and more relentless than anything you've ever known. Most people will never experience that version of themselves because they refuse to embrace pain. They rather stay soft, safe, and weak. But that's not you. You're not most people. You're the one who runs straight into the fire. You're the one who makes suffering your best friend. You're the one who destroys comfort and never looks back. Stop negotiating with yourself. That weak voice in your head, the one telling you to sleep in, to skip the workout, to take it easy, kill it. That voice is the enemy. It's the same voice that's kept you average, the same voice that's made you soft. And you listen to it like it's got your best interest in mind, like it's trying to protect you. Let me tell you something. It's lying to you. That voice is the reason you quit. It's the reason you don't follow through. It's the reason you're not where you want to be. Because every time life gets hard, every time it's time to put in work, you let that voice talk you out of it. I'll start tomorrow. 1 more hour of sleep won't hurt. I deserve a break. Shut that down. You don't negotiate with weakness. You don't sit there and have a debate about whether or not you're going to do what needs to be done. You just do it like a machine, like a savage. Because the moment you give that weak voice even a second of airtime, you've already lost. The best don't negotiate with themselves. They don't wake up and wonder if they feel like training. They don't sit around deciding if they want to work hard today. They made that decision a long time ago. They execute every single day, no matter what. You think the best fighters, the best athletes, the best leaders sit there and ask themselves, do I really want to do this? No. They get up, they get after it, and they don't stop until the job is done. Because they know that if they let that weak voice win once, it will try to win again and again and again. That's how people go from disciplined to undisciplined, from hungry to lazy, from strong to weak. It starts with one excuse, one skipped workout, one moment of negotiation. And before you know it, you're right back to square one. So here's what you do. You take all that mental chatter, the doubts, the excuses, the negotiations, you shut it down. You tell that weak voice, we don't do that anymore. You move without thinking. You work without hesitation. You don't leave room for negotiation because the second you do, you've already lost the battle. And this is just about workouts. This is about life. You don't negotiate with yourself on whether or not you should chase your goals. You don't negotiate with yourself on whether or not you should be disciplined. You don't negotiate with yourself on whether or not you should be great. You just go, you just do, you execute every damn day. Your mind is a liar. Your mind is the biggest liar you'll ever meet. It will tell you you're tired when you're not. It will tell you you're broken when you've barely scratched your limits. It will whisper excuses so convincingly that you'll believe them if you're weak enough to listen. That voice in your head, the one telling you to slow down, to quit, to take the easy road, that voice is the reason you're not where you want to be. That voice is the reason most people stay soft, weak, and average their entire lives. And here's the worst part. It knows exactly how to manipulate you. It knows your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, and it will use them against you the moment things get tough. You ever notice how your mind starts negotiating when you're in pain, when you're pushing your limits? It's not a coincidence. That's survival mode. Your brain is designed to keep you comfortable, to protect you, to keep you safe. But safe doesn't make you strong. Safe doesn't make you better. Safe makes you soft. Your mind will lie to you and tell you that you've given 100% when you've barely hit 40. It will tell you that you need rest when you still have miles left in you. It will convince you that you're too weak, too slow, too old, too broken, because it doesn't want you to see the truth. And the truth is this: you are capable of so much more than you believe. Your mind doesn't want you to know that, because the moment you do, it loses control. The moment you realize that pain is temporary, that exhaustion is a choice, that fear is an illusion, your excuses die. So what do? You call your mind out on its lies. You push past the limits it tries to set. You prove it wrong every single day. When it tells you to quit, you go harder. When it tells you you're finished, you dig deeper. When it tells you you can't, you show it that you can. Because here's the thing: the strongest version of you is on the other side of those lies. But you'll never meet that version if you keep believing the bullshit your mind feeds you. You have to override it. You have to rewire it. You have to take control and own your thoughts instead of letting them own you. Your mind is a liar, but you are a savage. And a savage doesn't listen to lies. A savage doesn't stop when the mind says stop. A savage keeps going until there is no doubt left about who's in control. Discipline over motivation. Motivation is a liar. It's a scam. It's that fake friend who hypes you up one day and disappears the next. It's the feeling that gets you started but never sticks around when things get tough. That's why most people fail, because they rely on something that was never meant to last. You ever wake up and not feel like working out? Not feel like putting in the work? That's when most people quit. They tell themselves, I'm just not motivated today. And guess what? That's the reason they stay exactly where they are, weak, average, and lost. Because motivation is like the weather. One day it's sunny, the next it's a damn hurricane. You can't build a strong foundation on something that changes with the wind. But discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't care if you're tired, if you're sore, if you had a long day. Discipline gets up and puts in the work no matter what. Discipline is the difference between people who talk about being great and the ones who become great. The disciplined man doesn't need a reason to show up. He doesn't wait for inspiration. He doesn't check if he's in the mood. He just executes day after day, whether he feels like it or not. You think the best wake up every day feeling motivated? Hell no. They wake up some days feeling like crap, but they still lace up their shoes. They still hit the gym. They still attack their goals like a savage because they know discipline is what separates winners from losers. Motivation will let you off the hook. It will tell you it's okay, you'll get after it tomorrow. But discipline doesn't negotiate. It doesn't accept excuses. It demands execution. And that's what you need to develop. An unshakable, no compromise discipline. It doesn't care how you feel. A discipline so strong that no matter what life throws at you, you show up, you put in the work, you move forward. Because when you master discipline, motivation becomes irrelevant. You don't need it. You don't rely on it. You are the force that moves forward no matter what. Be ruthless with your standards. Most people set their standards low because they're afraid of failing. They don't want to push too hard, expect too much, or demand more from themselves because they know it will hurt. And that's exactly why they stay weak, stay soft, stay average. You want to be great? You want to be unbreakable? Then you have to set your standards so high that the old version of you wouldn't even recognize the person you become. And then you do not lower them for anything or anyone. The world will try to pull you down to its level. People will tell you you're too extreme, that you're doing too much. They'll say, relax a little. It's okay to take it easy. Those are the words of the weak. Those are the words of people who have already quit on themselves. Your standards should make people uncomfortable. They should make people question whether you're even human. And when they doubt you, when they call you obsessed, when they say you're too intense, good. That means you're doing something right. That means you're holding yourself to a level that most people will never reach. But here's the thing. You can't just talk about high standards. You have to live them, breathe them, embody them. If you say you're going to wake up at 4 a.m., you wake up at 3:59. If you say you're going to run 10 miles, you run 12. If you say you're going to hold yourself accountable, you don't make a single excuse, not one. Because the moment you let yourself slide even a little, you start falling back into mediocrity. And mediocrity is like quicksand. The second you stop fighting, it pulls you under. You have to be ruthless. You have to be relentless. You have to hold yourself to a standard so damn high that most people would break just trying to keep up. Because in the end, your standards define who you are. Set them high and they'll carry you to greatness. Set them low and they'll bury you where you stand. Turn pain into fuel. Pain is your greatest gift. But most people don't see it that way. They run from it. They avoid it. They let it break them. And that's why they stay weak. That's why they stay the same year after year, because they don't understand that pain is the only thing that can make them stronger. You ever notice how when things get hard, your first instinct is to stop? Your mind starts screaming at you, this hurts, slow down, take a break. That's your weakness talking. That's the same voice that's kept you soft your entire life. But here's the truth. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is the key to unlocking the strongest version of yourself. Most people fold under pain. When life hits them, they stay down. When they fail, they quit. When things don't go their way, they feel sorry for themselves. But the ones who understand pain, they take that suffering and they weaponize it. They use it as fuel. You've been through some dark times. You've had moments where you thought you weren't going to make it. But guess what? You're still here. You survived. And that means you have a choice. Either let that pain hold you back or turn it into the fire that drives you forward. You take every ounce of suffering, every moment of doubt, every failure, every heartbreak, and you burn it into fuel. You remember what it felt like to be at your lowest, and you let that pain push you harder than ever before. You don't just move past it. You carry it with you and use it to become something unstoppable. Think about the hardest moment in your life, the time you wanted to quit, the time you felt completely broken. Now ask yourself, are you going to let that moment define you as a victim, or are you going to use it to build something stronger? Because the truth is, pain doesn't destroy you, weakness does. Pain is the hammer that shapes you, the fire that forges you. It's the thing that separates those who talk about being great from those who actually become great. The difference is mindset. Weak people see pain as a reason to stop. Strong people see pain as a reason to keep going, to push harder, to take that suffering and turn it into raw power. Because at the end of the day, the strongest people you'll ever meet aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who took their pain and turned it into something unstoppable. So stop fearing pain, stop avoiding it, stop letting it control you. Look it in the eye and tell it, you work for me now. Live with relentless execution. Most people talk. Most people dream. Most people make plans, but very few execute. You know why? Because execution doesn't care about how you feel. Execution doesn't wait for the right moment. Execution doesn't give a damn about motivation, inspiration, or how tired you are. Execution is the difference between the ones who want it and the ones who take it. Relentless execution means you don't just show up when it's easy. You don't just work when you feel like it. You don't just push when conditions are perfect. You go every single day, no matter what. It's 4 a.m. and your bed is warm. Too bad. You're sore. Who cares? You had a long day? Good. Do more. Because the moment you let excuses creep in, the moment you start negotiating, you've already lost. Relentless execution means you never let that happen. You move with urgency. You attack your goals like your life depends on it. Because guess what? It does. You think the greats wake up and take days off? Hell no. The greats don't wait. They don't hesitate. They don't sit around talking about what they're going to do. They just do it. They execute every damn day, no matter what obstacles are in front of them. And here's the truth. There are no shortcuts, no hacks, no magic formulas. You want to win? You want to be the best? Then you have to outwork everyone. You have to be more disciplined, more consistent, more relentless than anyone else in the room. And this isn't about talent. It's not about genetics. It's about putting in the work every single day without fail, without excuses, without compromise. Because at the end of the day, results don't come from wishing. They don't come from hoping. They don't come from waiting for the right time. They come from one thing and one thing only. Relentless execution. Kill the weak version of yourself. Everything you need to become the strongest, hardest, most unstoppable version of yourself is already inside you. But here's the truth. You will never get there as long as you keep holding on to weakness, that version of you that makes excuses. Kill it. That version of you that quits when things get tough, Kill it. That version of you that stays comfortable, that settles, that accepts mediocrity, bury it so deep it never sees daylight again. Because the moment you let go of that weak version of yourself, you free yourself. You become the person who destroys comfort and embraces pain. The person who never negotiates with their own excuses. The person who understands that their mind is a liar and refuses to listen. The person who lives by discipline over motivation, who is ruthless with their standards, who turns pain into fuel, and who moves through life with relentless execution. This isn't a game, this is your life. And every single day, you have a choice. Be weak, be average, be like everyone else, or kill that version of yourself and become something unstoppable. The world doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your feelings. It only respects one thing: work. So get up, get after it, and never stop until the strongest version of you is the only version left standing. It's time to kill the weak version of yourself and never let it come back.